Welcome to the EMEA Recruitment Podcast, in partnership with international medical charity Operation Smile. We're proud to be raising awareness and vital funds for Operation Smile to deliver life-changing surgery to children around the world. If you can support this cause, please go to emearecruitment.com/operation-smile. In this episode, we're joined by Tiago Zini Uliana, Head of Formulation Switzerland, and Michel Kempkes, Head Formulation Engineering EMEA at Syngenta. They explore Syngenta's commitment to farming the food of the future.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the EMEA Recruitment Podcast, in partnership, as always, with our good friends over at Operation Smile. So today we're delighted to welcome Michel and Tiago from Syngenta onto the podcast. So hopefully you can still hear and see me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, perfectly.
Excellent. So, we're delighted to welcome you both on the show today. As my colleague Rose has mentioned, a bit about your background and the things we're going to be talking about. And normally I like to just start the podcast in a bit of an easy way, just to warm you guys up a bit and to ease into the podcast. And given that the show is in partnership with Operation Smile, I thought I'd just ask you both what was the last thing that made you smile? And maybe Tiago, you want to go first on this, and it gives Michelle a bit of time to think about it as well.
Yes, sure. I'm a father of an 8-year boy, and last week I have received from his school a message that he was elected as class representative to the school council. He was very proud and happy as well that he could be part of a group that will shape the future of the school and change things there. So he's happy, I'm happy, and I'm also very proud of him. So I think that this was the last one.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. That's always a good one. It's always, you usually find that people's happiness, if they have children, relates to their children's achievements and what they're getting up to, because it makes, I think, their life better, and it makes your life better and easier as well. So that's always a good one. And what about yourself, Michelle?
Well, I think we smile a lot here also at work, so that's a good thing. The last one we had a really good time. I think it was last week. We had a low-key team event. We just got together with some drinks and some barbecue after work, and that was really, really a lot of fun. And I think it's much as a cliche as it is true, that nothing beats really personal interactions and being there together with the whole team in an informal setting. We cracked a few jokes, we had a good laugh. It was a real good experience again. Yeah.
Excellent. And probably, given your answer to that, Michelle, it's probably a good time to ask you a bit about Syngenta, because I know between the two of you, you've been in the business now for over 16 years. So there's obviously a great match for you in the business, and there's something you like and something the business likes about yourselves. So maybe, Michelle, given you've mentioned this, it's probably makes sense to ask you this question first. What is it's about Syngenta that makes it such a great match for you and a great company to work for?
So I've worked in a number of companies outside Syngenta, right? So I did work most of my professional life within Syngenta, and I think comparing the other two companies I worked in with Syngenta, I think what makes Syngenta really unique is the dynamics in the company and the breadth of opportunity that the company provides to you. So we work in a very dynamic field. Innovation is really important to the success of our company. We work all over the world, and we address some really important global issues. At least we try to make an impact on those. And I think that comes with a set of opportunities and challenges that is really second to none. And I think Syngenta, what also sets it apart is that what matters is your skill, your own interest, your own drive, your curiosity, and that's always been rewarded within Syngenta. And I think that really sets it apart from certainly from the other two companies I worked for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good to hear. Tiago, would you agree with that as well?
Of course. And this is really nice. I very often I tell this history here inside that when I joined Syngenta, I had to myself that I would work in this company for 4 or 5 years maximum. And last month I completed 10 years here. So I was completely wrong in the beginning. And I think that Syngenta, as Michel said, it's great because it's so dynamic. The company has a history of merge and acquisitions, and it's always willing to evolve and to adapt to different scenarios. So I always feel that 1 year is never like the other, and it makes a huge difference for me, because it feels like I'm working to a better company year after year. As Michel said, we also work really hard on people development here. It's lived by the leaders, by the and very encouraged to all employees. There are trainings, coachings, mentoring sessions, a lot of things. But for me, the most important is that the company really, provides opportunities to the employees to move to different jobs, projects, functions. So if you have a view of what you would like to do in the future of your career, the leaders and the companies and the company itself will support you to reach your full potential. So I think that in this sense, the company is great.
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting because what you've both been saying has also been echoed from a lot of other people in the market, either people working for Syngenta or people who do their research on Syngenta before meeting on interviews, and it does have a very strong reputation in the marketplace. And I think, as well as the things you've mentioned around developments and opportunities and reacting in the right way to things, I think one of the things that's really making the business stand out is the initiatives around things like diversity and inclusion and sustainability. We had Ruben, the D&I lead, on the show a few weeks ago, and we're learning a lot about the initiatives the business has from that side of things, which is really leading the way. And given that sustainability is quite linked, I think, to your roles. How do you feel that the increased focus maybe on sustainability is going to affect operations moving forward, Tiago?
Yeah, no, sustainability is definitely a very important topic for us at Syngenta at the moment. We are really committed to create a better world in the future. There's a lot of initiatives aiming to reduce the carbon footprint of our manufacturing sites, logistics operations, working with suppliers and distributors. On the product development side, there are biological and soil health solutions that will reduce the carbon and water intensity. And we are also looking for the usage of greener co-formulants in the future formulations of our product pipeline. So definitely this is an important topic. We have some ambitious goals for the future, and all the companies is going towards this direction.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting is that I think you're both in roles that are involved, obviously, heavily in that. So it must be quite pleasing to know that your chosen career paths are not only interesting and a great fit for yourselves and Syngenta, but also you're putting something back into the world, and actually how the future generations are going to live. And I thought one of the things with your backgrounds is they are quite unique, I would say. Obviously, as a starting point, you're both non-Swiss nationals, living in Switzerland. So I thought, looking at your backgrounds generally, I guess you both taken quite a lot from the moves that you've made in different countries, and thought maybe that's something we can just analyze a bit in terms of what advice you give to others about relocating for career opportunities, because clearly it's worked very well for both of you. So maybe Michel, if you want to go first, and then we can get to Tiago's inputs on that afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great question. I think it starts with being open to it, right? It starts being, you have to let go for a certain amount of certainties that you might have at the moment, and be open to whatever new experience that you won't know it, when you have to make the decision, will come your way. So I think, you have to be open to it, seize the opportunity, and dare to step basically a bit into the unknown, I guess. I've moved a couple of times in my life for career opportunities, and each move brought me, I think, but also, my family members, new insights, learnings, and experiences that you would never have dreamt of before the move. So it's really looking back on these moves that you think, wow, this has actually brought me so much more than I would have anticipated before it. And I think, again, be open to it, seize the opportunity, and you also let it happen. Go with the flow and try to soak it all up. What's coming your way? Yeah.
And Tiago, was that the same for you as well?
Yeah, no, of course. And I have relocated from a little further away from Michel. So I came from Brazil with my family 20 months ago in the middle of the Corona pandemic here to Switzerland. So it was definitely not an easy start in the beginning. But after a couple of months, me and my family, we have settled in very well to the new environment. Relocating to a different country is definitely worth it in my opinion. No matter how experienced you are, you have to put yourself in a position of growth mindset, learning every day in different situations. So it's definitely a learning opportunity, interacting with different people from different cultures in a different environment, far from your comfort zone at your home country. It's great to develop new skills, on the company side, to improve your business understanding, learning about a different country and how the company makes business in there. It's definitely worth it. So I would really recommend this as an experience, not only in the business part, but an experience in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think really to add on that, I think what's really important is, I think both Tiago and I, when we moved, not only to Switzerland but also to other places, is to have the support of your family members, right? I mean, it's not just you for your career. You have to have a family that is, willing to also make a really big change and to adapt to a new way of living. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true, and I think the things you both talked about there. There's a lot about learning and taking the opportunities when they come around. Obviously taking calculated risks. Which it is a big risk moving from country to country, and it's making sure that it's as much as you can the right move to do. But also, I think pushing yourselves out of the comfort zone. This
Absolutely.
is something that we regularly see. Successful people do is they do push themselves. To areas where they're not 100% happy, but actually, that's where the excitement happens, and that's where you learn a lot about yourselves as well in those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
And I guess linked into this, one of the things I always find interesting when talking to people like yourselves is actually how you started in this career, because normally what you tend to find is there's a chance meeting or chance circumstance that then changes the next 20, 30, 40 years of someone's career. And I thought we're talking about, looking at relocation and the how you analyze whether it's been good for you. But also I think, circumstance and chance comes into life generally as well. So I thought I'd just ask you both, from when you started your career, how you actually got into the discipline in the first place. Is it something you've always dreamt of doing, or was it a chance meeting or circumstance that started your career? So maybe Michel, if you want to take this one first.
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago, I went back to the town where I grew up and had a beer with some of the people I met, some of my friends from primary school, and I think any of those friends was surprised at the profession that I have now. So already, I think as a kid, I was really, interested in chemistry and in making, all kinds of weird concoctions in the garden shed of my parents. Not always something they were very supportive of, but it was already kind of in me, that kind of interest. And I think, later on, you move on and you try to orientate a little bit what you want to do. And then I also realized, okay, I want to do this on a bigger scale. And then for me, it was so natural to just take chemical engineering or process engineering as a career. Yeah, it wasn't a difficult decision at all. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I think you might be the first guest we've had on the podcast that has that story where you're living the dream on that side. Are you?
Well, yeah, living the dream. I mean, almost inevitable, I would say, looking back. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's a good message to send out there as well. That that's actually the things you enjoy when you're a kid or growing up in the early days. You can the passion behind this really helps open the doors and opportunities. Because then your job feels less like a job and you're more successful as a result of that.
Indeed. Yeah.
So Tiago, was that the same for you? Were you also, causing havoc for your parents with your chemistry experiments, or was it a different story for you?
Yeah, no. For me, I was always curious about equipment, machinery, all of these. I had my father was an engineer, a Navy engineer, so I always had this type of conversations with him at home. And I decided to do production engineer, so which is rare inside Syngenta and in the field that we are here. And I started working in a pharmaceutical company with manufacturing processes and equipment. I was always very curious about different stuff. So since the beginning, I was looking for different things to learn about and new challenges to take, and the opportunities were starting to appear. So I was lucky to work in different functions and in different companies in the beginning of my career in areas as engineering and production areas, such as production and process engineering, CapEx projects, packaging technology, commissioning. So a very broad area of experiences in the beginning. So I consider myself really lucky that the companies that I worked for invested in me and gave me these opportunities. So as I said, 10 years ago, I joined at Syngenta. And after some years in different roles, I have discovered also kind of a passion for two new areas, which is product development and people leadership. And through conversations with the leaders, my line managers and coaches inside the company, this opportunity to become head of formulation development here in Münchwilen appeared, combining both things, working on the development of new products and leading a big organization of 50 people, combined with a relocation to a different country in a different culture. So it was combining everything together, and it was difficult to say no. So I'm also very happy in where I am at the moment.
That's great. It's great to hear both these stories. It's definitely a feel good podcast today, I think, with the things you're talking about. And I guess you've hinted about this already, Tiago, in your last answer. But what does it really feel like to be in your current role? We talked a bit about the moves you've made, the how you got into the discipline in the first place. But if you sort of sit back and reflect about your current role now, what does it really feel like to you?
Yeah. No, as I said, it's a great experience. It's a big responsibility at the same time, but it's extremely rewarding, really, to work as a head of formulation development here. So we are part of the R&D organization, and we play a vital role in transforming active ingredients from Syngenta and other partner companies into great solutions to be used in the field by the farmers. So there's a very appealing, purpose of the role here. In my current role, I'm in constant interaction with other functions involved in the product development and product lifecycle management as well. I'm always looking for synergies and ways of improving our internal processes. And it's also important to me to be close to my team, to check what they need in terms of tools and understand what they need in terms of trainings, equipment, and support with their personal development, which is a big topic for me. At Syngenta, we are part of a global company with operations in different regions. So interacting and exchanging with people outside Münchwilen and Switzerland, with my peers and colleagues in other regions, is key to really, really key to stay up to date with the strategy. And with this, I'm able to give the right direction, which is really, really important for me, and enough information to my teams. So with this, I can empower them to take the right decisions at the right level. So I don't do everything alone here. I have a great team that works with me, and to empower them and to guide them into the right direction is really important in my point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess, it does come back a bit to what you were saying earlier. You know, it's clear that you both have a strong passion and desire for the roles that you're doing, and then it does have an effect on the people around you. You know, the team that you have are likely to be, very pleased to be working for you, and then they perform better as a result, and the trust is there. You can trust them, and they can trust you, and it makes everybody's life easier and more enjoyable on that side. So it's really interesting to hear your thoughts on the current role, and maybe Michel, that's a tough one to compete with. Are you also as positive as well?
I can just echo a lot of the things that Tiago was saying. I think both Tiago and myself, we work really at the interface of R&D and production. So we're the last step in a chain of a real exciting pipeline of innovation. And basically, we turn that innovative ideas into reality. I mean, at the end of our work, basically, there's an actual product that somebody is going to buy and apply onto a field. And I think that's a really exciting place to work in. Not only because that's where innovation becomes a reality, but also because you work like Tiago on like in a hub connected to many different places in the company. Either geographically but also professionally. You deal with so many different people. I work with the production sides. You work with the colleagues in the formulation development. I work with supply chain managers, with the asset strategy managers. So there's a lot of people you deal with all kinds of different professional or sometimes even cultural backgrounds, different priorities, different timelines, different personalities, and that makes it sometimes admittedly hectic, and very dynamic. But also very challenging and rewarding. And then I think, second to that is indeed working, as Tiago said, with a team, or to have the privilege to work with a bunch of people who share that passion and interest, and make this work really a reality in the department. Yeah.
And I mean, you both mentioned the people that surround you, your teams and your stakeholders and so on that you work with every day. And I suppose logically it brings us on to a bit of the conversation about people and recruitment. I mean, I don't think we could have a podcast on a recruitment company podcast without asking this subject in some shape or form, but I mean, from your points of view, what are really important to you when you're looking to put together an efficient and effective recruitment process to bring in the right people into the business? Maybe it might be a good one actually for both of you to comment on. Maybe Michel, you don't mind going first, then get Tiago's input afterwards.
Sure, as well. Yeah. So I think it starts with being clear on what you need, and also being honest about yourself. Am I not looking for a unicorn here, or do I have a realistic set of expectations on the candidacy and the vacancy that I have open? I think that's the first part then, now to be clear on what you need, but equally to be also clear on what you have to offer. Because I think recruitment is a two-way thing, right? We invite candidates to come over here, for us to assess if they are a good fit for the role. But equally, and this is also what I tell in every recruitment event that we have to the candidates, I want you to leave today also with a feeling if we are the right fit for you guys. So candidates, especially in today's job market, they have options. They can plenty of options, in fact, to choose from. So I think we also have to articulate very well what it is that we have to offer the candidates. And I think it is a lot, but we have to be really clear about that. And I think that is a key to success, I think. Because if you are able to explain well what it is you have to offer, then suddenly you will have the luxury of choice. Then there will be a lot of people applying to your role. You will have the opportunity to test the suitability of many of them. And then you can actually choose the best quality people in there. And then I think that's a luxury that is really essential to be able to get the right quality people in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tiago, is that what you would agree with that as well?
I can only echo what Michel said. For me, the most important part is that the company needs to be really clear on what is expecting from the candidates. and what is looking for. And this needs to be clear in the advertisement, but also during the interviews. It's not only the company that is selecting the candidate, but the candidate is selecting the company as well. So all about the culture of the company and what you are expecting and how this fits together with the candidate. It needs to be a very good conversation, because you have not a lot of time to share what you need and how the candidate is. You usually have some hours that you interact with the candidates. So if you are very, very clear and direct about how the things work in the company and what is you expecting from the candidate, and you can access this very well, I think that this is key for a good recruitment process. Because in the end of the day, this needs to be sustainable in the future. After a couple of months, both needs to be happy with the choice that they made.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because you both have this strong love, I guess, of what you do. I mean, can it be sometimes difficult when you interview people who maybe are doing this job because it's a job and it pays their bills? I mean, I guess that would you ever find that frustrating if you're sitting opposite someone and they don't have that love and passion for the discipline that you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you look for candidates that share a little bit of that passion and that would like to, go the extra mile. I mean, I don't think if you're here clocking in at 9 and leaving at 5, if that's all you want to do and you see this as a way to pay your bills, you can count on these people to go the extra mile if that's needed, and it will be needed at some point, So that will be difficult. I would also say, there might be situations where you say, well, let's be honest and fair to each other. I need the service that you can provide. You need the money that I can provide, but then it's a real, working a very cold business relation, and not somewhere where I could see this person grow into the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that's especially I think since the whole COVID situation, the emphasis on cultural fit and what a company is doing from a values and ethics perspective is a lot more under the microscope now. I think that these things are much higher up on people's agendas than what they were, 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that's something that at least I can see, and from feedback that we've had from the network, that Syngenta do very well. I think it is responsible for the business being seen as an employer of choice. I would say so. You're definitely both doing something right, as are your colleagues at Syngenta as well. And I mean, I thought I'd ask you maybe an unusual question to end the podcast on, and it's not one that we talked about previously, but I wanted to ask because of the nature of some of your answers here today, and I wanted to know if you hadn't chosen the career path you've gone in, what do you think you might have done instead? Is there an alternative career that you could see an alternative Tiago or an alternative Michel being in at this point in time? I know I'm kind of throwing this at you, so I don't know who wants to take this one first.
Wow, this is a difficult one. Eh?
I don't know. Maybe I would go for something like a cook. That would be something I could see somewhat related to the mixing and the preparation of stuff that we do now. Somewhat related to food. That would be something I could see myself doing as well. Yeah.
I can see like a Heston Blumenthal type chef,
chemical.
The
quality will be up to that level. Yeah, who knows?
Then what about yourself, Tiago? Would you trust Michel with his cooking? First of all, would you trust him to cook you dinner?
I think yes. Yeah, Michel cooks well. We had one opportunity to cook together in one event that we had here, and he did great. I think I would trust him as a cook.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So what about yourself? What do you think you would do?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm really into sports, and in my youth I played basketball for a lot of time. For many years, almost until professional in Brazil. Unfortunately, I injured myself a lot, and at some point I had to decide if I was going to study something and become an engineer or continuing playing. But I don't think that I would have become a good basketball player. I would not be successful at this point in time. But definitely something related to sports, because I'm a big fan. I like the sports culture and how sports can change people's lives. So I like a lot this part. So definitely something connected to this.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. No, that's it. So we could have had Michael Jordan and Gordon Ramsay on there today. That's, yeah, you never know. The sliding door scenario. That's it. But no, I really appreciate both of your time, because I know you're really busy, and I think it's brilliant to have this conversation with you. I know the network will take a lot from it, and it's clear that you both obviously really enjoy your roles. You've had a great time at Syngenta over the years, and there's still plenty more exciting things to come as the discipline kind of grows and gets more involved in more things outside of where you are currently as well. So yeah, just a huge thanks to both of you for being on the show today. And just one last thing, if the network wants to reach out to you directly, is LinkedIn the best way they can do that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anytime. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What we'll do when we put the podcast out there, we'll make sure we put a link to both of your profiles, and then people can reach out and connect directly as well. And I know, from what you've said, there'll be a lot of people interested in working for your teams at Syngenta now. So that's which hopefully is a good thing.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Paul, for the opportunity and the time here with us.
No worries, no problem at all. It's been a pleasure. So, no, huge thanks. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll be in touch again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.